Hey, Cub fans! Welcome to Cubs 24/7. I am Randy. We're on this channel. We talk all things Cubs in a delighted and optimistic perspective, because that's what Cub fans are. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Pete Crow-Armstrong. We going into the 24 season. We have questions, obviously. There's, as we are speaking now, there's quite a few questions. Some Cub fans have been frustrated a little bit with the unknown. But I want to start by talking about some of the knowns. Like, what are some things that I think that we can count on looking forward to the 24 season? And this will be my thoughts on that, barring injury. So let's take potential injury situations out of it. But if we just focus on performance, what is it that we think we can really count on this year? Well, I think we've got 4 players we can count on to do the job in a big way. Those players are Dansby Swanson at shortstop. I think we've seen what Dansby can do, and I think we can count on it. Nico Hoerner at second base. He's obviously proven what he is. Only question I have with Nico is how much more improvement is there? I think there's improvement left, so I expect him to probably be better than ever in 2024, but I think we can count on Nico to be solid. I think Ian Happ is a proven veteran. I think we know what we're going to get with Ian. I wouldn't expect him to show that much improvement, but if we just get classic Ian, I think we'll be fine. And the fourth given in my mind, and you could debate this, but I think Seiya Suzuki is a given. I think Seiya has gone through the growth that he needed, the acclimation that he needed, and I think he had the ups and downs that were probably predictable. And I think Seiya Suzuki is ready. I think we're going to see a big year from Seiya, and I think we can count on him. We've got some other players on the roster. I think we can most likely count on them. Not that they're going to do anything great, possibly, but I think we can count on what they can provide. I think Mike Tauchman. I think he's a player that we know what we're going to get with Mike. He's a veteran, and I think we can count on him being Mike Tauchman, similar to what he did last year. I think we know what Patrick Wisdom is. He's going to strike out, but he's going to hit home runs. He's going to hit lefties. He's going to hit the ball hard. We signed him for $2.75 million for 2024. We know what we're going to get from P. Wizzy. And I think we know what we're going to get behind the plate. I think Yan Gomes probably won't have quite the year that he had last year, but he's still going to be a solid veteran, a veteran presence. And I really most likely see Miguel Amaya taking another step forward in his maturation. So I think he's going to be just fine. And I think most likely Christopher Morel. I think we know what we're going to get from Christopher. Christopher has played really well in the winter ball down in the Dominican this winter, both offensively and defensively. So I think, again, barring injuries, that's what we can count on. So the questions that we have are, they're not few, they're many. There's many questions for the 24 Cubs, but I'm going to talk about one question that I think we can look forward to, and that's Pete Crow-Armstrong. And the question is Pete Crow-Armstrong going to be our everyday center fielder? I'll start by saying I like Pete Crow-Armstrong. No, I don't like him. Love Pete Crow-Armstrong. For me, I would, right now, with what I know, I'd put him in center field opening day, let him play. Let him prove that he's not ready. But that's where I stand. So I'm going to give you a little background on Pete Crow-Armstrong. Very interesting player, extremely high potential, and just to kind of get to know his background. Pete, as we speak, is 22 years old. He'll be 23 in March, so he's not a 19, 20-year-old kid, but he's certainly a couple years away from starting to enter his prime. But that's where he is. He was in 2019. He was the number 1 high school prospect and he was in California. But he was number 1 overall high school prospect, and between the 2019 year and the draft in 2020, he dropped a little bit. I guess it's hard to stay number one, but he was drafted by the Mets with the 19th overall pick in the 2020 draft. Mets signed him for $3.4 million bonus. And so that's kind of where he stood. But I want to talk to you about his grades. And if you're unfamiliar, Major League Baseball in the scouting world, in an effort to get some, we'll call it objective measurement in a subjective world so that other people can see it, scouts give players grades. And the grades are based on a scale of basically from 0 to 80. I don't know why. It is what it is, but 80 is the highest score you can get. So from 70 to 80 is well above average. 60 to 70 is above average, and 50 is average. 40 below, and 20 to 30, you're well below average. So that's the grades that scouts give players. And they give these players in 5 categories. And I really think the categories are great. Because there's 5 of them, and I don't know if you've ever heard the term describing a player as a 5-tool player. Willie Mays was a 5-tool player. There's a handful of them, and a 5-tool player is a guy who theoretically can do it all. And the 5 tools are fielding, hitting, which is hitting for average, power, run, and arm. So if you can catch the ball, if you can throw the ball, if you can run, if you can hit for average, you can hit for power, those are the 5 tools. So Major League Baseball scouting system grades out prospects in those 5 categories. So I want to share with you what Pete Crow-Armstrong's grades were as a scout in terms of giving information on where he stands. So Pete Crow-Armstrong had an 80 grade for fielding. 8. That's the highest you can get. The highest you can get for fielding. So that's what he is. His driver, the reason he's here and the reason we're talking about him is he is more than a plus fielder. He's a plus fielder. In fact, you can't grade a fielder higher, and we'll talk about what he brings in the outfield there. But an 80 fielding, he's not slow. His run score is a 60. PCA, he's 5'11". He looks taller than he is, sort of lanky. He's 5'11", 184 is what they have him listed for. But he looks taller. Like if you see him moving around, he looks like a 6'1", 6'2 guy. So there's some length in it. And I think that his speed is there, but he looks sort of effortless. But they rated him a 60, so that's above average run and speed. They graded him 55 hit. So they rated him a tick above average for hitting and a tick above average for his arm. And at the time, they rated him 50, so average power. So highest score possible in fielding, plus speed, plus hit, plus arm, and average power. So to me, that's a pretty good prospect. The Cubs acquired PCA in July of 21 for Javier Baez and Trevor Williams. And Pete had an injury too I want to tell you about. Back in, I believe it was in 20 when he first started playing, he'd only played 6 minor league games, and he got injured on the bases, and he tore the labrum in his non-throwing shoulder, which would be his right shoulder. And he did rehab, came through it. Everything is good, but he did have that one injury a couple years ago. But it's not an issue now. But I wanted you to be aware of that. So the Cubs acquired him for Javier Baez in the summer of 21, and they gave up Javi and Trevor Williams. So that was the trade. Many of us probably remember that and how we felt about it. So PCA is now in the Cubs organization, and he came flying through that. So I want to give you his minor league stats. So just to kind of give you an idea. So he came up through the ranks all the way from single A ball to triple A ball. In his minor league experience, he's had 214 games. He's got 885 official at-bats. He has scored 193 runs, 266 hits, and he hit 36 home runs. He walked 89 times and struck out 237. His average is 301, so he's above 300 with his lifetime minor league average. His on-base percentage was 376. He slugged 515 with an OPS of 891. So you look at his numbers indicate that the power of rating of 50, he's obviously going to improve that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what he looks like. He has already made his major league debut, which I think is a real positive. He's already gone through the emotion of that. And Pete Crow played about 14 games last year. And in that time, he went 0 for 14. He's hitless. So Pete Crow-Armstrong has not gotten his first major league hit, but he has 14 at-bats. In those 14 at-bats, he had actually 17 plate appearances. He walked 3 times and struck out 7. Scored 3 runs, and it didn't look good. Not good at all. I'll take that back. He stands at the plate and he looks good. But for whatever reason, he was swinging through pitches. And, it was emotional. He was trying too hard, all of that. I get it. So I'm not going to put anything into his 0 for 14. That, to me, is just a blip. So I'm not worried about that. But I am glad he went through that already. I think that from a mental perspective, that gives him sort of an advantage and an edge. Let's talk about what he looks like, though. Because I like my eye test. It's like, do I like watching a guy play? Yeah, I do. Well, he's good then. If I like watching him play, he's good. Do I look forward to his at-bats? When he comes to the plate, am I optimistic that he's going to get something done, or I'm like, oh, inning's over? You guys do the same thing. You can trust how a guy makes you feel. And Pete Crow-Armstrong makes me feel great. Watching him in center field, this guy's going to catch everything. I mean, I've seen some center fielders, right? We've had some great ones, but I don't know that I've ever seen a kid with little major league experience look the way Pete Crow-Armstrong looks in center field. This thing's phenomenal. Well, what's phenomenal about it? Well, his reads. Crack of the bat, the guy's gone. He takes his first steps in the right direction. His reads off the bat are just incredible. His routes are incredible. His path. So he reads, his first step is instant, and he takes the right path. He gets up to speed quickly. He'll get to either gap, covers a lot of ground, and when he gets there, he catches the ball. And as a center, if Pete Crow-Armstrong is in center field, he's going to cover ground, he's going to catch the ball, and he's going to be consistent. He's just a fantastic center fielder. Let's talk a little bit about his arm. His arm, they rated it a 55, which is above average. He's plus arm. I mean, it's not a great arm. It's not a right fielder arm, but it's certainly plenty for center field. So I feel more than comfortable with Pete Crow-Armstrong's arm in center field. His run, they rated him at 60. He's plus speed, and it shows up. That's why he can cover so much ground. When you've got plus speed, now he's not plus speed. He's not lightning speed, but because of his read, because of his route, it might as well be plus speed. As much ground as he covers because of the combination of those variables. I like him at the plate. They rated him at 55 for hitting above average. He a left-handed hitter, throws left, bats left, and standing at the plate, he stands tall. And to me, his presence is good, right? He comes in, and instead, I describe it: are you an assassin, or you prey? Are you the predator, or you prey? Some guys come in the box, and you can tell they're just trying to survive it, trying to figure out a way. Other guys come in the box and they're looking to do damage. They're looking to tear your head off. And it's more of a confidence. It's more of a sort of an air about them in the box. And just what I've seen with PCA is he's got that. He's got that confidence when he comes to the plate. Now, it didn't show up when he was 0 for 14. You saw his eyes. His eyes were a little wide, right? I'm okay with that. A lot of hype. Kid's making his major league debut. Cubs are in a pennant race. I mean, it was a lot. And so he went 0 for 14 and saw that. But watching him hit in his minor league games, very confident in the box and looks good. So, but in addition to having the mindset that he's confident there, that he feels like he's going to do damage, he is actually very disciplined. So stands tall but has good plate coverage. Doesn't look like he's going to chase. And as a young guy, if he's already disciplined, that certainly bodes well. His power is coming too. He hit 36 home runs in the minor leagues, and you can just tell by his stroke. That's a power stroke. So I think you're going to see my prediction of PCAs are going to be power there. So I think he's going to hit for a high average. I think he's going to be disciplined. I think his walk rate is going to climb. I think his chase rate is going to continue to decrease. So PCA is for me at this point the whole package. Now on the base paths, he'll steal a base for you. He's not Ricky Henderson or nothing, but he's aggressive. When he talked about being traded for Javi Baez, one of the things that he said was he sort of runs the bases in his mind like Javi did. Javi's a little bit crazy, takes some chances, take the extra base. He's aggressive, and I think PCA is that as well. So, I hate to be too emphatic, but PCAs can't miss for me. I mean, barring injury, I don't see how he misses. The only question I have is he going to hit enough? Is the plate production going to be high enough initially to keep him with the Cubs? And I'm going to say it is. I just believe that everything he brings, I'm willing to give probably more time than other rookies a chance to figure it out. But I think PCA is one of the big keys to our success in 2024. If PCA is what we think he is, and I think he is, and we are settled in center field for the long haul, and we can count on that, boy, I tell you, that gives us an up the middle that's just incredible. You've got Dansby and Nico, 2 Gold Glovers up the middle, and you back that up with PCA in center. That might be the best up the middle that I've ever seen in a Cub lineup. So that's kind of where this is with Pete Crow-Armstrong. As you can tell, I'm very excited. Love watching him play. I'll be glued to everything he does, every at bat. Spring training is going to be interesting, and so that's Pete Crow-Armstrong. And I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that I gave you a sense of what you can look forward to with PCA. And with new information, I'll be sure to update everybody. But for now, thank you for joining me. We here at Cubs 24/7 appreciate it. And don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get some numbers out. Don't be afraid to tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your other Cub fans to check us out on Cubs 24/7. I do have an X account that you can find me. It's at Randy Talks Cubs on X, and I'm trying to give some updates there. And we're going to talk Cubs. And when I have something on my mind, something I want to share, you'll be the first to know. So again, thanks for joining me, and I'll let you go for now. Go Cubs, go.